Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out his girlfriend has been drugging his meals to cover up her affair. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. I, 29 male, started cohabitating with my girlfriend, 24, 6 months into our relationship. She had gotten a job around my place, and I thought it best for her to move in with me. It would make it easy for her to continue to work and also would save her time. When I had first told her the idea, she kicked against it as she wanted us to have time away from each other, so there could still be fondness. I had managed to convince her that it was for the greater good and that we would still spend 10 hours plus away from each other when we went to work. After a couple of discussions, she agreed and we started living together. We loved and respected each other. In truth, cohabitation improved our love, as we found ways to make the best of every little time we spent together. We also saw the need for mutual understanding, and we tried to communicate and listen as much as we could. I also made sure she never lacked anything that I could give, and contributed to her happiness as much as I could. She also did everything within her power to make me a happy man. We were living blissfully. I was already thinking of taking her to the altar, but I needed to be convinced it was real because everything was too good to be true. 2 months after we started living together, we had our first major disagreement. It was a conflict that could have been resolved peacefully, but none of us was willing to take the high road. Eventually, it escalated into a quarrel. We barely said a word to each other for days. After a week, I decided to call it quits. Someone needed to put an end to it, and I was the person. I called her and told her how much I missed her and how sorry I was. She apologized and told me her heart was aching too. We made up, and she cooked me a meal. It was super tasty. I told her how much I loved it. She decided that she would be cooking my meals. She started making dishes, and they were great. Because we both worked during the weekends, she wouldn't be able to make our food. I thought it stressful for her to make food, and I talked to her about it. She told me she loved making my food and watching me wolf them down. We laughed over it, and she continued making our meals. As I was eating one evening, I noticed something unusual in the food. I used the cutlery to dig out the substance. It turned out to be a drug. I called her attention to it and asked her for explanations, but she denied knowledge of it and mentioned that the drug could have slipped into my meal without her knowledge. I refused to accept her excuses and demanded a reasonable explanation. She started to walk away, saying that I was being dramatic and it was probably something that fell into her food. I stopped her by picking up my phone and threatening to call the police if she didn't tell me the truth. She watched me punch in the cop's number and pleaded that she was ready to say the real thing. When she noticed I was dead serious about my threats. When I asked her again, she mentioned that the drug was some sort of protection. I asked her what the drug was supposed to protect me from. She told me that she had contacted STI and she thought that she had somehow transferred it to me, but she couldn't get me to run a test because of the suspicions it might arouse on my part. She also didn't want me to know that she had STI, as I would most likely stay away from her, and also find out some ugly stuff. Since I didn't have STI before and she was sure it wasn't from me, it meant she had gotten it from someone else. I asked her how she got the disease, and she explained that she accidentally slept with a guy in her workplace, and they had the affair going on for a while, but a month after I asked her out, she discontinued the affair. I insisted that it was a lie. I was not the reason why she stopped what she was doing. I recalled and mentioned to her that I had always noticed the extra effort she inputted into preparations for work. I also stated that I knew there were not many females in her workplace, so she was dressing to impress someone, a male figure in the office. I was livid, but I held back my anger because I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in a federal prison, and told her that we were done. That's when she went down on her knees and started shedding uncontrollable tears. She pleaded with me not to end the relationship, and she was sorry that she never meant for any of this to happen. And she swore it ended a month after her relationship started. She told me that the drug thing was just her trying to be caring and protect me from possible consequences only she should suffer. After much pleas, I helped her up and told her I understood, but that was a lie. I don't understand why she did this. I can't stop wondering what would have become of me if I hadn't noticed the drugs. She was administering drugs to me without my consent and the recommendation of a doctor. All because she couldn't stick to me and decided to give it to an infected guy. So many thoughts have been racing through my mind. What if the drugs were reactive and destructive to my body system? Or what if the drugs contained something my body was allergic to? She didn't care about those. All she wanted was to clear all traces of her infidelity. I'm mad. I feel so betrayed and hurt. I can't get over the fact that the person I love so much broke my heart this way. I can't let it go either. What do I do, guys? What should I do with her? Update. I took the advice that I had gotten from fellow users. I reported her to the police and they apprehended her at her workplace. She just had her first court appearance, and her family scrambled to put together bail for her, all the while cussing at me. She's likely looking at a short prison sentence or longer community service. Her charge? Infliction of bodily harm. Either way, it'll end up on her record, and I wished her good luck in trying to find a job from here on in. Yes, she's been let go of the current one since her stunt. All in all, life is good for me. I've decided to take some time off from dating and figure myself out first. I'm so sorry this happened to you, OP. I can't start to imagine the level of betrayal you must have felt when you found out about the things she's been keeping from you. She not only cheated on you, but she also put you in great danger by administering drugs to you without a doctor's prescription or your knowledge. I totally agree with you pressing charges against her. It's no wonder she's like that if her family doesn't seem to understand that what she did was very wrong. I'm glad things are good with you. I hope you find a better partner when you finally decide to go back into the dating world. Take care, OP. Story 2. Me, 26 male, and my girlfriend, 25, have been together for over 5 years. She got me out of my pit and made me feel whole again when we first got together. And she's been a major part in all the positive things since I've met her. I truly love her. Last year, we went through some problems like any other couple. We tried to talk as much as we could, and she said she felt like I didn't listen to her all the time, partially true, and that I didn't make her feel sexy or pretty because I didn't pay her enough attention sexually. Saying this, we were having sex every week, normally between 1 or 2 times a week, and on the odd occasion more. It's important to note that she has a much higher sex drive than I do. 1 or 2 times a week for me is perfect, and I've never had a massive sex drive like most guys seem to have. From then on, I've tried to make extra effort to make her feel appreciated. I've tried to initiate sex more, voice my opinions when I think she looks good or sexy, and it seems that things were fine. A few months later, we went on holiday, and at night, I looked at the pictures on her phone to find photos of herself naked playing with herself. Next to this, I found photos of a guy topless with a shit-eating grin on his face. I confronted her the night after, and she broke down crying, saying she was sorry, and admitting she had sex with a guy from work. I was heartbroken and couldn't believe someone I cared so much about would do something like this to me. She told me she was going to tell me after the holiday so we could have one last holiday together, as she thought I would break up with her after finding out. As you can tell, I didn't, as I thought she was truly sorry and that we loved each other enough to get through it. She said that the guy from work had moved and that she would cut contact. Again, I believed her. But for insurance, I saved the guy's, call him Tom, number before she was able to delete it. I guess looking back, I can tell I wouldn't trust her fully again. A few days later, she received a call from a name I didn't recognize. She told me to just hang up as she didn't want to speak to them. I later looked and found she had changed the name on her phone from Tom to another name, let's say Matt. I looked over this, thinking that I needed to trust her word that she wasn't contacting the guys again. Otherwise, the relationship would never work. Again, looking back on it, this was another red flag. But yeah, like a weak-willed person in love, I just wanted to see the best in her and believe her. Fast forward to recently, where things have been good between us. We'd have the odd disagreement now and again, but we'd talk through it and she seemed to be happy. Tonight she went out with her girls and got all wasted, so I'd put her to bed and sorted everything out for her. Once she was asleep, I felt the urge to check her phone. I know I'm betraying the idea of trusting one another to make a relationship work, but I looked. I'm not proud of it and I can't take it back, but I looked. I found that she had been messaging Matt, so I looked on their message chain. In the messages between the two of them, she messages telling him to meet her tonight, but he replies saying that he's too far away and wishes he had more notice. He then goes on to describe what he wants to do to her. There are pictures sent between them, but I obviously can't see them now. I'm again heartbroken that this amazing girl that I love could do something like this to me again. And the worst thing is, she knows it's wrong. She changed his name so that if his name came up, I wouldn't notice. Whilst she has been drunk, I don't see this as an excuse. I have no idea how long this has been going on for. How can I honestly believe anything she says to me? I just feel that this relationship has died tonight, and I feel awful. I'm going to miss her and all her family and friends so much. She has been a massive positive part of my life, and it now all just feels like a lie. It feels like a part of me has been ripped out, and I already feel empty. I feel like this relationship has to end, but I can't help but feel the weight of the disappointment from our friends and family that I'm about to end a relationship that seemed on the surface so strong. Should I really feel bad about this all? Am I a bad person for letting so many people down and possibly hurting her an immeasurable amount? I'm struggling to take the jump and put us both through so much pain. The idea of hurting her kills me inside, but I don't want to forever be questioning what she's doing or who she's talking to. I just need help. What am I supposed to do? You shouldn't feel bad, OP. You also don't have to worry about your friends and family being disappointed. They're sad for you, not disappointed in you. Simply saying that you can't trust her, it's not working for you, or if you want to be honest with them, she cheated and keeps in touch with the other guy in a very NSFW way, will make anyone else in your life supportive of your decision. Not that anyone else matters anyway, but I understand your concern. There is someone out there that's a better fit for you. Now for some comments. In short, GTFO. There's someone out there who will love you more and not cheat. This sounds like a serial cheater kind of thing. Change is painful, but you need to move on. These are the best years of your life. Make the most of them. You'll look back in the future and be happy you did. Just her not cutting ties with the guy after the fact, she has no respect for you or your feelings. Once a cheater, always a cheater. You shouldn't feel guilty or bad about it. This situation sucks, and it might suck for a few weeks after the fact, but you'll be happier in the long run with this decision. I'm sorry you had to go through something like this. It's never easy, and words can only do so much, but hang in there. Yes, it's going to hurt, bro. Really bad for a while, but eventually time will heal you. Everyone will know and not question you anymore about her, because they know it ended by her cheating. If anything, maybe people will support you more. You did nothing wrong, it was all her. I know you're scared, but look what she did to you. You probably feel so awful and hurt. You don't deserve that. Once it's over with, at least you never got to do it again.